What are the top three things that a GM should be looking at in their Google Analytics?
Boy, there's a lot. You can peel back the onion a million ways from Sunday, but one of the key things is, especially for those that are doing any kind of SEM campaign, figuring out where your clicks are coming from. I was just recently with a rooftop yesterday, actually, that unfortunately they didn't even realize they were running AdWords in the Philadelphia proper market, but they were. We looked at their Google Analytics and determined that they were spending roughly $2,500 per month just for AdWords coming from Philadelphia. You would expect $663 a car. You'd sell a handful of cars, correct? So through August, we're talking what, $20,000? How many cars do you think they sold? 9.
Wow.
They sold 9 cars. So there's a perfect example of, unfortunately, the industry is extremely competitive. Everybody's conquesting each other. But at the end of the day, when you fish in too many ponds, you just spread yourself way too thin. So here's a perfect example where, yes, I understand that they want to draw from the Philadelphia proper market, but it's just not viable. They're paying way too much per lead and missing out on some local opportunities in their backyard.
So explain how you would lower that cost per lead. What would you recommend?
Well, the key things are being able to view Google Analytics with a client. We literally just look at certain things, and there's some buzzwords that are out there, bounce rates and click-through rates and conversions, but really there are industry standards that Google puts in place. And we basically will first take a look at where you rank in comparison to their benchmarks, and then how do we optimize that? So again, in this example, I'll go back to the one from yesterday. This is a real simple fix where if this particular client is trying to target the Philadelphia market, there's things out there called geofencing. There's YouTube advertising. There's so many different forms of media that would be more cost effective that can draw from that market than Google AdWords. Because what we're finding is people are clicking. They realize this particular dealership is 40, 45 minutes away from them, and they just don't show up. So that's where we look at the GA to just figure out, again, where they're coming from. Another big thing in GA as well, in the auto industry, there's a big trend right now, which is unfortunate. We all have heard of bots.
Yes.
Yeah. Unfortunately, in the auto industry right now, 42% of all online traffic is coming from a bot. Now, that's good and bad. There's what are called good bots that are out there. Facebook sends a lot of them out there just to make sure that information is staying proprietary. And there's bad bots that are out there. A lot of my rooftops are in email conquest marketing. Unfortunately, that is one of the biggest bot servers, if you will. So things like that can be found in the Google Analytics. I mean, you can just go in today, do a map of where all your traffic's coming from. And if you're seeing traffic coming from, especially out of the country, but in Utah and Kansas, there's a couple of them that are out there, a lot of them from California as well. There are a lot of the bot headquarters that are just basically just seeing what's out there on the internet, and they're scouring your inventory feed, etc. And it's doing a couple things. One, it's causing high bounce rate. The problem with bounce rate is it lowers what's called your quality score. And the little known secret that a lot of people don't know is an AdWord campaign is dictated or predicated on your quality score. And what I mean by that is usually everybody thinks, well, the guy who's first on the page is paying the least. And 99 times out of 100, the person who's first on the page is actually paying the least, because Google's looking at quality score, time on site, page views, bounce rates to determine what your ultimate cost per click is.